Headlining the news in Hastings, big changes ahead for the Westview Center. More tenants to move in soon. How did Hastings votes compare with those from around the state during Tuesday's primary election? Details ahead. City Council members question city spending as tough financial times continue. These stories and a new youth council to study teen issues in Hastings. All of this and Raider Sports next on Channel 10 News.
From Hastings Access, this is your community news program, Hastings Channel 10 News.
Leading the news, despite tough times and losses of major tenants, the entire Westview Center appears to be rebounding with the rest of the economy. Hello. It was early this winter when the popular clothing store Perman's closed its doors at the Westview Center. 2 winters ago, the discount shopping center Duber's closed due to lack of sales. Well, once again, we're reporting changes at the Westview Center. But as Brian Sweep reports, the new changes are one that shoppers are eagerly expecting.
The past 2 years have been 2 years of change here at the Westview Center. The change isn't done yet, according to mall developers. However, this year, Hastings isn't going to see major tenants moving out. They're going to see new tenants moving in. Tenants which are bringing the residents of Hastings more shopping and entertainment options. Among the changes, Top Lumber will be moving to a new location in the industrial park. Moving in, something residents have wanted for quite some time.
Top Lumber will be moving to the industrial park, which we own a piece of property, a 5-acre piece where Micro Display was there last year. And there is a company, a theater company that's leased the Top Lumber building to do a theater.
And essentially they're going to have, they're going to start with either a 5 or 6 screen theater with the potential space there to go up to an 8-screen theater. And so that remodeling will be starting roughly in July. That should be completed, so they plan to be open by roughly November.
Major remodeling is needed for both the site where the theater will be and where Perman's used to be, as both Sears and a small women's clothing store will be moving in. Also, Super Value may be expanding, and Teen Choice may be moving to a new location within the mall to accommodate that expansion. As for any more stores packing up and leaving town, IBI says definitely not. The recession of the 1990s may be at least partially to blame for certain closings at the Westview Center. However, that was only the first blow. The second blow came when construction on Highway 55 started, and the mall was virtually blocked off for almost 2 years. In fact, now that construction is completed and the recession seems to be winding down, a new store has already opened its doors.
Well, sure, we'd like it to be busier, but I know Sears is coming up here. That had a lot to do with me deciding to get in here, too, was Sears is coming up here, and they're going to run the mall through. It's going to run right into Palmyra down.
Things appear to be looking up for the Country Crossroads Shopping Center. That's the mall next to Walmart as well. Construction will begin either today or tomorrow on a new family-style restaurant. However, there are still 5 or 6 spaces available for further development. According to the owners, they're very pleased with the way things are going, especially with the hard financial times of the past year and a half. Headway Corporation spokesperson Murray Kronborg says he may have postponed the project had he been able to predict that 1991 recession. Well, there's still conflicting information about whether or not the Westland Center could become a reality. The developer claims that he still is negotiating with possible tenants. Reports from city staff indicated that the developer, Richard Dreyer of Oak Grove Development, has not contacted the city for several months and will not return phone calls from city staff. Also, Dreyer has not completed the necessary traffic study, which was a prerequisite to council approval. So here's the bottom line on the shopping center in Hastings. More new tenants will be moving into the Westview Mall. Those tenants include Sears, a new clothing store, and a movie theater. Development also seems to be picking up at County Crossroads as construction will begin this week on that new family restaurant. And still no word about any further revival of the proposed Westland Center. City Council members have yet to find out what budget cuts, if any, will be in store this year. This has council members questioning further purchases of a track bus, as well as the hiring of summertime help. At the City Council meeting Monday evening, it was explained that presently staff is only seeking bids for replacement of an aging bus. All spending decisions will be made at a later date. As for the part-time help, well, that money will come from previous departmental savings. The added staff will be used to help the water department catch up with overdue work. At least one council member feels the hydroelectric plant is the fault of the added work for city staff.
I think our problem is with the hydro plant creating other problems in the utility department. It started out that the hydro plant was going to just operate with somebody going down there a couple hours a day just to check it over and look at it. Now they're getting 2 or more people down there all the time, so they're taking away from their normal jobs to go down there and work on this hydro plant, and I think that should be known.
In other council action, Three Rivers Manufactured Home Project will proceed. Monday, the council passed the second reading to rezone agricultural property to a high-density residential. Now, this was passed despite the reservations of 2 council members. The 2 no votes came from Ed Rivness and Dick Mathewitz. Mathewitz's constituents include Park residents. The council unanimously approved the purchase of property owned by the local oil company. That property is adjacent to the fire department and will be used in the upcoming expansion project. The project coincides with a courthouse remodeling project. Now, the city may still terminate the purchase agreement if the property is found to be contaminated with toxic materials from its previous use as a gas station. One other note, the council approved 3 sites recommended by Dakota County for construction of a new library. They include Pleasant and 55, Westview Drive and 55, and the vacant lot adjacent to the frontage road between Balls Drive and Lynn Way. With a relatively small turnout, 11% of the Hastings voters, or 988 residents, both Bill Clinton and George Bush came out as the overwhelming victors in Hastings during Tuesday's primary election. Clinton's victory margin was narrow. Clinton 185 to Brown's 183. Also-rans included Paul Songas, who received 143 votes. Both Tom Harkin and Bob Kerry received a marginal amount of support as well. On the IR side, George Bush won with an overwhelming 247 votes. Pat Buchanan came in second with 99 votes. One other name popped up with 7 votes, that of Harold Stassen. Well, construction work at the United Methodist Church is beginning to wrap up. The project was done to add more classrooms and office space. Nearly 1/10 of the total $500,000 cost was done by volunteers, and this has been a real benefit to the congregation. With the money they have saved, the congregation was able to remodel more than they had originally planned.
Coming and performing some drudgery, but every time I come and see the people, I participate with them, there's laughing and joking and getting to know one another. Some of our newest members have been the most active in donating their time and labor, and so it's been wonderful. Anywhere from bringing in goodies to swinging a paintbrush to sweeping and then to some of the more technical things.
100 Hastings area women attended the first annual career fair sponsored by the local chapter of the American Association of University Women last Saturday. Successful women who are employed in a wide variety of careers, from airline mechanics to store managers. All of them presented information about jobs, education, and careers. The conference gave area women an opportunity to explore non-traditional careers and to talk with women currently working in a variety of fields. Another conference is definitely planned for next year. Wednesday, the Westview Mall was transformed into a clinic as another fair of sorts was going on. The Care 11 sponsored community health fair gave Hastings residents an opportunity to have their blood pressure checked, to see if they have high cholesterol counts, to talk with doctors, to find out about physical therapy, and more. All of this free to the public. Organizers thank the community for their excellent participation. How to live with the threat of a new airport in Dakota County. Area farmers and homeowners now face an uncertain future as their land sits in limbo. Tomorrow afternoon, the Minnesota Extension Service of Dakota County is sponsoring a free seminar titled Living in the Airport Search Area. The program will take place at the Vermilion KC Hall. There'll be no charge for that program, which will get underway tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. Channel 10 News will be having a crew on the scene and will bring you details of the seminar on next week's news program. Well, the omnibus hearing for Chad Zion has been rescheduled for April 27th following a cancellation last week. Zion, who is charged with second-degree manslaughter in the death of Tim Mathewitz, as well as other charges, is undergoing psychological evaluation. The postponement of the hearing was a mutual decision by both attorneys involved in that case. In some other news briefs from Hastings, the sentencing date for David McNamara has been continued to April 21st. McNamara, you may remember, pleaded guilty to 2 charges in connection with a number of burglary cases in Hastings last summer. The trial date had originally been set for Tuesday of this week. McNamara was also charged with third-degree assault, second-degree burglary, and motor vehicle use without consent. Those charges should all be addressed at the hearing. A burglary was reported on April 3rd at the Pizza Ranch downtown Hastings. $500 cash reported missing. Also, 2 cash registers were damaged beyond repair during the course of that burglary. And $2,700 worth of items taken from a garage in Hastings. Mark Ficker reported on April 4th that a window to his garage was broken and entered, taken in the burglary, a chainsaw, an outboard motor, 4 rods and reels, and 2 full tackle boxes. One other brief, the Dakota County Board of Commissioners is urging the Met Council to delay an expansion of the Burnsville landfill. They're asking the expansion plans be delayed until the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency studied Dakota County's application for the proposed garbage incinerator. Well, still to come, Mayor Mike Werner has a proposal for a youth council to explore options of dealing with the problems that the youth of Hastings face. Next, Brian Sweep will join us to talk about spring sports in Hastings, as many team seasons are just getting underway. We'll be right back.
These scenes were made possible by the 147th Signal Battalion of the Minnesota Army National Guard. They're the link between commands and actions. Join them right here in the Twin Cities, and you'll learn how to operate the sophisticated communications equipment that keeps the Guard moving. Lesson 1, pick up the phone.
Well, we have the fellow who calls all of the shots normally from that side of the camera. We're getting you
All the
on
shots?
this side. Well, you call quite a few shots.
Quite a
don't
few
you?
shots.
Absolutely.
Not
We-
pot shots, though.
No, for sure. We have Brian Sweep with us. Brian and I think we're the only 2 members of the John Weaver fan club, aren't we?
I think so.
Jackets are still under order.
Jackets under order.
And John is gone.
John's in Florida.
How about Don Miller?
Don's at a conference all day.
You have sports on your shoulders. Brian Sweep has them all.
It's a heavy burden to carry, but I think I can do it. The Raider tennis team opened its season last Thursday with a 4-3 win over Cretin-Derham Hall. The team added another impressive win this past Tuesday with an impressive 6-1 finish over White Bear Lake. The Raiders, who have 7 members returning from last year's 4th-place finish in state, are led by Efren Maldonado and Brian Horsch in singles, and Jeff Hopkins and Chris Coakley in doubles. The team is at Lakeville on Friday and will host the Hastings Invitational this Saturday, starting at 9:30 in the morning. The softball team opened its season on Monday against a very powerful Henry Sibley team. The Indians held the Raiders hitless in an 8-0 shutout. The Raiders can't be too disappointed with the loss. The Indians are ranked number 17th in the Metro poll. 2 other teams in the St. Paul Suburban Conference are ranked above Sibley. Park of Cottage Grove is ranked 1st in the Metro and 3rd in the state, and Woodbury is ranked 7th in the Metro. So the Raiders have some tough competition to look forward to this season. The baseball team began the season Tuesday with a loss to Simley, and they play Tartan this Thursday. They will partake in the conference tournament this Saturday. Their first game is against Woodbury at 9:30, and then they will play South St. Paul at 1:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, I think that's some pretty decent talent. We do have a number of people returning from, I know from state competition last year, I know we have Jason Boatman returning from state competition. He competed in the hurdles, the 300 hurdles at the state meet. He didn't fare as well as they would have liked, I know that, but I think things went pretty well for the whole season. And we have Eric Johnson. He ran in the state meet last year. Steve Sellers returning in the high jump. Ryan Rembleski is a state qualifier, state placer at the cross country meet. So things look pretty good as far as that goes, I think.
We Hastings girls track team. We are in somewhat of a rebuilding mode. We lost probably 75 points off, potential points off from last year's team. Right now we have a lot of new kids. We have over 40 girls on the team still at this point, which is one of the largest squads in recent history. Our strengths right now appear to be in the distance area, with most of the members off the state championship cross-country ski team. Also, our throws would appear to be a strength at this point in time. We have a lot of new kids. Some kids I haven't had much of a chance to really get a good look at yet. Next week or so, we should get a better fix on how they're doing. I guess I would hope that we'd be somewhere within the top 14 in the conference and be able to send some people to state this year.
That was the Coaches Corner with our track coaches, who began practice last week with conference relays. Turning to some other sports briefs from around the community, for all tennis fans, once again this summer, a recreational tennis league will be available to all men and women who live and work in Hastings. An informational and organizational meeting is scheduled for Saturday, April 25th at the Hastings Public Library. The meeting will get underway at 10 a.m. Members and anyone wishing to join the league are invited to attend. The Tuesday night men's golf league at Bellwood Oaks will begin play Tuesday, April 21st at 5:20 p.m. Few spots are open this year, but if you would like to try for one, call Pete Carpin at 8478. And Dave, the Hastings area swim team spring and summer registration is scheduled to start this week of April 28th. The week of April 20th, excuse me. For registration information, you can get a hold of somebody at 437-4311.
Thanks. It just goes to show again, somebody leaves to go somewhere, a young hotshot comes in, fills his place. John Weaver will probably never get back with sports again.
I'm going to have to quit my fan club membership as well.
Well, yeah, then it'll be down to me. We'll be the only John Weaver one. We will be back with Mayor Mike Werner and his proposal for a youth council. His hope is to prevent further tragedies from striking so close to home.
If you can't read, a lot of things in life might seem like this to you. Even if you know a few words, you're still missing out. There is a way you can get help filling in the blanks. Call the Basic Skills Hotline, and we'll put you in touch with free reading, writing, math, and GED programs in your area. Just call 1-800-222-1990 to get the whole story. And together, we'll make it a happy ending.
In the 1890s, Sarah Cole started sneaking a smoke after tennis. Today, Sarah's great-great-granddaughter learned the Surgeon General has reported there is a direct link between smoking and heart disease. Now you've come a long way. You've quit. The American Heart Association. We're fighting for your life.
Well, we have Mayor Mike Werner with us now. And Mike, we'd like to ask you to tell us a little bit in detail some of the things that you feel might be done to sort of assist the youth of our community. You know, there's been a hue and cry, I think, for years. Whenever you talk to young people, there's never enough to do in the city of Hastings. And what got you going on this? What was your main impetus for this?
Well, I think, Dave, it was something that I talked about while I was campaigning almost 15 months ago, 16 months ago. And maybe some of the recent events probably prompted me to move more expeditiously on the project. But I think a lot of us as parents and adults probably don't understand real well the the concerns and the issues that deal with the youth in our community, other than being parents, which deals with a very, very small spectrum of the youth, because we have our own 1 or 2 children, or 3 or 4. And I felt this was an opportunity for the city and the school system to respond in unison, to provide for really an interface between the residents and the youth of the community and the elected officials, both in the school system and on the city council. And we decided in a joint meeting with the school system, both Ken LaCroix, the superintendent of schools, and Don May, who is the chairman of the school board, and myself and Dave Osberg, who was the city administrator for the city, met and agreed that this was a process we probably needed to enact to find out, what type of issues really exist out there. I think the interesting concept of the whole committee issue that we talked about, which was really a forum of both residents being parents and residents being students within the local school system, and what I'll term as professionals. Professionals being the school counseling people, the school teachers, people that are trained to deal with youth issues, that we could bring all of these folks together, the students, the parents, and the professionals, the experts, and kind of research all of the entire issue that deals with youth activities in the community, and bring back some solutions to both the school board and to the city council and to the citizens of the community. One of I think the problems that we have is that we don't survey or ask the youth often enough.
Youth will play a pretty big part in this, will they? Or
There will be an equal constituent of youth and adults on the committee, and when we combine the parents and the experts together and compare them with the youth, there will be an equal contingent of each that participate in this committee. And we've asked them, and we have a couple meetings yet to go with Don May and myself to kind of really outline a charter, what we want this committee to do. But I think the important aspect of this is that we want to give them some direction. Here is what we need you to come back to us with. And it appears by the response of the community since the letter went into the newspaper and all the other discussions that there's a lot of interest from many different aspects of the community that want to participate in the project. And we're going to be meeting in the next week and laying out what we consider the charter for this committee. I challenged the middle school students. There was a group of 6 students that I met with the other day to select the 4 representatives from the middle school. We're also going to select 4 representatives from the senior high school, and then we'll have 8 adults serving on this committee. And hopefully they can, number one, determine what the opportunities already are that exist within the community for the youth, and also bring us back some recommendations or solutions for other opportunities and changes and values that we have with the youth in the community.
good. Mayor Mike Werner, and Mayor, could you keep us apprised of how things are going with this? We'd really be interested in following this along.
We certainly will, and hopefully within the next 2 weeks, we'll have some type of a formal direction that this committee will function within, and this committee will then make periodic reports back to the city council and the school board. So hopefully we don't have to wait for surprises in the end. We can keep everybody informed along the process.
Good. Thanks, Mayor. And next on the news, we have details of Hastings' first Family Fun Fair. This and more community events coming up next on the news.
Join the great American food fight against cancer. Serve your family foods high in vitamin A and C, high in fiber, low in fat. For more information, call the American Cancer Society at 1-800-ACS-2345.
In the community events file this week, a free family fun fair will be held Saturday at McAuliffe Elementary School. What'll be there? Well, they'll have art displays from young children throughout Hastings, booths by agencies that provide services and programs for families in our area, and demonstrations by various agencies, including the Hastings Fire Department. Also entertainment by the well-known DuckTales. And once again, that's this Saturday, 10:30 until 12:30 at McAuliffe Elementary School, and the cost, it's right up my alley, it's free. You can forget cooking this Sunday, or rather on Sunday, April 26th, as your family can attend the Hastings Kiwanis Club ham and pancake breakfast. That breakfast will be held in the middle school cafeteria from 8 in the morning till 12:30 p.m. Tickets available at the door, $3.50 for adults, $2 for students. Discounts are available for pre-buying those tickets. The event is a fundraiser for local scholarships, civic projects, and education. Well, that just about does it. Wraps us up. We'd like to thank you very much for being with us. And here's a little reminder, a number to call. If you have any story ideas or show comments, give us a buzz at 437-1947. Call anytime. Feel free to leave a message. Thanks a lot for being with us, and we'll see you again next time.